Even with Nick Walker's very impressive showing at the Pittsburgh Pro and a week later at the New York Pro, people are still saying that he could never win the Mr. Olympia. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Nick Walker's return to the stage was very impressive. His second place finish behind Derek Lunsford, which was very questionable. He probably brought his best physique to date. Followed that up a week later with a totally dominant victory at the New York Pro. That being said, there are people that are still saying simply because of his aesthetics, or lack of aesthetics, his structure, he can never become a Mr. Olympia. Well, let's take a look at this. You know, take a look at Nick Walker from when he first turned pro. Chicago Pro was his first competition. I believe he placed fourth. I believe Akeem Williams won the show. If you look at his physique then you look at his physique after at his Arnold Classic victory and his fifth place showing at the Olympia, then third place, the physique changed dramatically. It didn't become aesthetic, but there were a lot of changes, a lot of improvements for the better. Obviously, the way he was placing demonstrated that. Okay, he lost track. He lost track for a couple of years. He had to pull out 1 year because of an injury. Then a very lackluster, what I call a very lackluster showing at the New York Pro, and then pulling out of his second Olympia for, well, let's not get into that now. All of a sudden, he comes back and he brings his best physique to date. Still not aesthetic, but let's break this down. What were his issues to begin with? Mainly, one of the biggest criticisms were his legs in relation to his upper body. A little longer torso. His legs are a little short for his upper body. Yeah, that's something you can never change, but there are also things that can be done to help take the attention away from that, make it less noticeable. Nick has made, since we saw him last year on the New York Pro stage to now, it's really like night and day. He's made tremendous improvements. That disparity between the upper body and the lower body is not really very apparent now. You can see in his front shots at the New York Pro and the Pittsburgh Pro, it does not really seem to be an issue. He has brought up his legs more, added more sweep to the quads. That in itself helps give the illusion. And let me say this also, his legs aren't that much short in relation to his upper body. One of the issues is where his quads tie in on top. They tie in, they connect low. Excuse me. By doing that also adds to the short leg effect. All right, let's get back to what I was saying. Okay, improve the sweeping legs, which helps take away from from the impression that the legs are too short. Another thing, and I pointed out before in previous videos, when he poses from the front, yeah, his legs, I'm not trying to say his legs aren't at least a little short for his upper body, but when he poses from the front, he would always bend his knees a bit. And that's making your legs shorter. I always said that he needs to straighten out his legs much more in those front shots to help give the illusion of his legs being longer. Actually, it is making them longer by straightening your legs. He's doing that now. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty, the poses. You've got 8 mandatory poses. Say what you want about his structure. Nick still has one of the better front double biceps out there. And he can beat a lot of people. His Achilles heel, if you would, as far as poses, was his front lat spread. And to tell you the truth, he's made a lot of improvements, and it is still not great. But like I said, but when he was compared against Derek Lunsford, Derek Lunsford's front lat spread was never that great either. They were somewhat comparable. He's still losing front lat spread against a lot of people, but it's not as bad as it was. The side chest, most people would agree he has one of the best, if not best, side chests. And now let's turn him around to the back. We saw at this past Pittsburgh Pro, Derek Lunsford, who people are saying has the best back out there now and one of the best backs of all time. And back double biceps, when you look at the whole picture, I had Nick beating Derek in the back double biceps. Tyler Mannion had him beating the back double biceps. And and Nick has a terrific back lat spread. So if he can, if not beat, at least challenge the man who's supposed to have the best back in the business today, if he can beat him or at the very least challenge him, he's beating a lot of people in those back shots. Let's turn it back around again. Side triceps. I don't like the way he did it in his last 2 shows. He changed it up a little bit. He goes back to doing it the way he's done it in the past. That's another shot that beats just about everybody out there. Abs and thighs. For a bodybuilder with his structure, he has a good abs and thighs. Let's just leave it at that. At most muscular, do I need to say more? The point I'm trying to make over here is, if you look at it on a pose-for-pose basis, he's beating a lot of people. He carries a lot of muscle on him. Probably on an inch-for-inch basis, more muscle, maybe not, maybe just more muscle, period. Let's take out that inch-for-inch thing. He carries so much muscle, and he brings conditioning. if he's one of the most consistent. The only one who's more consistent as far as conditioning than Nick is Hadi Choopan. And the only time Nick was off was the New York Pro, last year's New York Pro. And there were issues going on. We just take that out of the equation. But you push that aside, Nick doesn't miss the mark when it comes to conditioning. You take all these things and you put them together. The fact that he can win a lot of poses over most, if not all of the other competitors out there. Let's not get carried away. He can win most of the poses against most of the other guys out there. He carries a ton of muscle, and he's very consistent with his conditioning. That makes you a very dangerous competitor on that stage. And I'm not making any predictions right now, but all I'm saying, if you think that Nick Walker can never win the Mr. Olympia, you're thinking wrong. You can agree or disagree with anything I've said in this video. Either way, let me know in the comments section. This is Michael Diamond. I'd like to thank you for watching Muscle Central.